much more common than you think. But you know what? Rule number 2,
We don't judge.
no judging. I picked up the wrong baby from daycare.
Found my baby swimming in the toilet.
And for the record, the roll-off did not happen on my watch.
Ooh, dodged a bullet. Detective Edgar.
How'd you know?
The status on the Allen computer is exactly where it was 3 hours ago. Still imaging everything on his hard drive.
The fingerprinting?
It's very good. You actually paid attention in the training class.
So the thumb drive's working out for you?
Oh, just the best thing ever.
Detective, I have a rush on this.
Yeah, thanks for that, by the way. I wanted to be here all night instead of going home to my juicy and enthusiastic girlfriend.
Marty.
Wow, long time no see.
Hey, Joe, how you doing?
You know, they thought I had ball cancer. Turned out to be an undeveloped ovary on my testicle. Yeah, it was in all the journals.
Congratulations.
Anyway, you got something for me? What can I do for you?
I was hoping to speak to Hannah.
Hannah hasn't worked here in a long time.
Right. Would you happen to have a number I could phone her on?
I guess. You know, she's married with kids now.
Oh, I know it sounds crazy, but I always wondered why she didn't return my calls after our date.
All right, it's been a long time, but you know that isn't what happened.
What do you mean?
Well, Dr. Hirschkopf came in here, gave her a whole spiel.
Did what?
Said that you asked him to have a word with her.
Well, I did, but I thought...
She was pretty upset the way I remember. Listen, I looked over some of your stuff, and I think you're good.
Thank you.
Look, I'm gonna level with you. Got no TV credits, no movie credits.
We made a movie.
Was it at Sundance?
No.
South by?
No.
Yeah, no one cares. If you were any good, you wouldn't have to make your own movie. I'm not saying that's the case. I'm just saying that's what people like me think. Do you have any thrillers? Something with a dragon?
A dragon?
Oh, yeah. Dragons are the new vampires. I can't sign you right now. But why don't you email me some dragon ideas, and I'll let you know if they suck or not. And I do a full frontal graphic sex scene. You know, no softcore bullshit, real chuck, 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 chuck. And then all the employee of the Kugenado, we come out and we look at the camera and we say, Kugenado, get that ass.
All right. Very good, VIP. We'll let you know.
Thank you. All right.
Biggie, 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 can't you see? Sometimes your words just hypnotize me.
Hey, welcome to Biz. I always get so excited, and today I'm really excited because I've known this wonderful actor, this wonderful human being for over 20 years. I haven't seen him in person for a little while, but I've seen him all over the TV screen. And the movie screen and the commercial screen, and his voice is throughout cartoon land. He has over 125 credits the last I look. He has credits. I'm going to list a few of his credits here. What to Expect When You're Expecting. We all know that. Some of us more. Harold and Kumar Escape from Guantanamo Bay. LA to Vegas, How I Met Your Mother, Bones, American Horror Story, The Shrink Next Door, Family Guy, the list goes on and on and on. He is here today, the dynamic Amir Talai. Here he is.
Hello. Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me. Happy to be here.
Oh, I love it. And as we were discussing, we love your wallpaper.
Thank you so much. Me too. I love it a lot.
I want to find out where to get some. It reminds me of this Moroccan restaurant that I love going to.
Oh, yeah, I could see that. Yeah, it's got a little Moroccan feel, a little mid-century action.
Yeah, and a little 70s Haight-Ashbury.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
for sure.
so starting from you, when was the first time you remember thinking that you wanted to go into the entertainment business?
I mean, it was always a dream, you know, even in high school, it was a dream, but I never knew if it was possible, or if it was possible at all, let alone for me. And you know, I went to high school. I got a degree from UC Berkeley, and I thought I would work in the business world and try to do acting on the side. And before I knew it, the side became the main, and I haven't looked back. So you know, I got lucky in a
Yeah.
lot of ways. I worked hard in a lot of ways, and here I am.
And here you are. And you grew up, as we were talking about, in the San Francisco Bay Area.
Yep, grew up in San Francisco and went to high school there, went to college there, and then moved down here when I was like moved down to LA when I was like 24 or so. And then I've been here for 20 years or so. Yeah.
Ever since.
Yeah.
Now, when you first got here, I read that you went to the Groundlings. Did you jump into the Groundlings right away? And
Pretty quickly. Yeah, pretty quickly I started taking improv classes. I think those are really essential for all actors. And I fell in love with it. And so I started taking classes there, moved through the program fairly quickly. Over the years, moving through the program has taken anywhere from, you know, a year and a half to 7 years for some people.
Yeah.
It took me probably two. And the time is not about how good you are. It's really just about how many people are in the Groundlings pipeline and how many teachers they have available. So I happen to be lucky to do it at a time where it only took about 2 years. And then I didn't make it to the main company, but I still have the privilege to perform with alumni
Yeah.
on a sort of semi-regular basis.
Well, you keep on mentioning luck, and yes, that is part of it, but I think it's with you, it's complete talent. It's you've always had this energy about you that's like, you know, that you have this charisma, and along with the mix of the charisma, you have that sweetness and that deviousness and a little bit of everything.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think that it's a mix of things.
Yeah.
And having the mix of things is luck, right? Like working hard is not luck, right?
Mm.
But um but happening to have features that commercial casting directors like
Mhm.
is luck, right? I happen to have big eyes, and commercial casting directors like big eyes. That's luck, right?
Yeah.
I happen to be brown, but not too brown, you know what I mean? And casting directors like that, right? So that's luck. You know, I happen to be born in the United States. That's luck, right?
Yeah.
I don't have an accent, right? That's just luck. So you
Although
know,
you could do accents.
yes, sure, I can put on accents,
Yeah.
but you know, there's a lot of people who are incredibly talented, but who come from Mexico and can't shake their Mexican accent.
Yeah.
And so that limits their opportunities. It just does.
Mhm.
So you know, yeah, I've worked my ass off for sure, but you can't get to where I am without some luck as well.
Right. Now, as well as that, you speak what, 3 different languages?
You know, I speak French pretty well. I speak Persian a little bit, and I speak a tiny bit of Spanish as well. Tiny bit.
Un poquito español.
Yeah, it's better, you know, it's better if I spend some time in Mexico, or I just went to Cuba. Like by the end of the week, your Spanish gets a lot better.
Right.
Or like when I went to France recently, you know, a lot of French people thought I was French, but not on the first day.
You know, when you just said that, I thought, oh, if they ever do another remake of the Pink Panther, I could see you as Inspector Clouseau.
Yeah, I've heard that before. Yeah. God, shit, what's his name?
Peter Sellers.
Yeah, Yeah, I love Peter Sellers.
I do too. I do. He was crazy wonderful.
You got a little Peter Sellers going on too, actually.
Thank you. Well, I grew up loving him. My two favorites were Peter Sellers and Robin Williams, and they were both wonderful and crazy. And
Yeah.
I got a little bit of that. So, when do you think? I mean, was it the Groundlings? Were you in the Groundlings when you got your first big break, or was it? How did that happen? Your first big break?
It was, I think it was, yeah, it was during my Groundlings training that I got my big break. Was it, or maybe it was right after. I think my big break was probably a role on an HBO show that not too many people watched called The Comeback.
I love that show.
Yeah.
Lisa Kudrow, right?
Yes. So it wasn't very popular in America, but it was very popular in Los Angeles. And because of that, a lot of people in town got to know who I was. And that's what sort of got the ball rolling.
Right.
And yeah, it got to the place where people in town had to, like, I would come in and people go, "Oh my God, I love The Comeback," you know. So it really started from that.
And then you've done so many, TV. I see you on commercials. I was watching the Super Bowl one year, and there you were, right between the fourth, what is it, the goal post and this.
You're killing it, David. Your football knowledge is incredible.
I know how that's me and golf and this and that, but what is it? How did you get? I mean, I know you did, and you do voiceover work, and we have so many fans of animation, and we, in fact, have some animators here. How did you get from the TV and film to animation?
Luck. I was doing a show. I was doing a show called Campus Ladies, and Campus Ladies was produced by a company called Principato Young, that has a different name now. But Principato Young was also a management firm, and the casting director called Principato Young and was like, the casting director for Family Guy called Principato Young and said, "Do you have anyone who does a great Indian accent? We have this role that we need to cast." And they were like, "We don't represent anyone who can do that, who would really nail it for you. But we're producing this show called Campus Ladies. And there's a guy on it named Amir, and he does a great Indian accent. You should consider him." So this management firm that didn't represent me sent me in on this thing. I booked Family Guy. Because of Family Guy, I was able to connect with a voiceover agent.
Right.
And this voiceover agent ended up representing me for like 10 years. I didn't go looking for Family Guy. I wanted a good voiceover agent. And certainly, when I had the opportunity to do Family Guy, I showed up and kicked ass.
Yeah.
So that's on me, right? The ass kicking was on me, but it was luck that sort of put me in the position to be available. I was lucky that Principato Young didn't have someone top of mind who did a great Indian accent, so that they would recommend me instead of their clients, their actual clients, right? And then from there, just started auditioning through my voiceover agent all the time.
It seems like it really shows, when they say be prepared, and when the door opens, and you just seem to, there's an open door, boom, you just seem to go right through it.
Yeah, exactly. Right. A lot of the opportunities that come your way are going to be luck. What's up to you is being prepared enough to take advantage of those opportunities when they present themselves. There's so much that's out of our control as actors. So the job is to control what you can.
Yeah.
So when the stars align for you, that you can make the most of them.
I have a list here. I just have to, I wrote this down. You were on 15 episodes of American Dad, 14 episodes of LA to Vegas, Kung Fu Panda, The Legend of Awesomeness. You were on 61 episodes with many various characters. I'm going to keep going a little more. Turbo Fast, 52 episodes, The X List, 13, Campus Ladies, 20. I mean, you have been doing and doing and been, not many people get to that level.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm like I said, I'm very lucky.
And you know what brings me, one of the things that bring me the most joy in life is to see people who I know are really good people, wonderful people, talented people. And I see you, whatever you're doing, even if it's in a trailer for that wonderful movie that you did, what was with Chris Rock, was it?
Yeah, what to expect.
Oh, I love that. I just go, there he is. You know, it gives me my spilkus is the Yiddish thing for it, but it just makes me so happy to see the success that you've had.
Thank you. Thanks, David. I appreciate that, man.
Yeah. You know, and because we all are in this game or this business together, in this little town, big town of La La Land, and you see people throughout your journey at either parties or auditions or wherever it is, and then you see as time goes on, you see that their success. So it's really wonderful. I have a bunch of questions, but I know we have some people here who are wanting to ask questions. We have first we have Luke Zimmerman, no relationship. Yes, you had a.
Can I ask a question? I just want to know before we get into the student questions.
Yeah.
What can you tell me about your students? Like, sort of, what sort of level are we talking about? Are all y'all sort of just getting started with your acting journeys, or been doing it a long time, or?
We have all different levels of actors here, performers, singers, dancers. We have some who, like the first person I'm going to bring on is Luke Zimmerman. He was on a TV show for 5 years,
Okay.
Secret Life of an American Teenager.
Very good.
And we have other people who have been on this, that, and the other commercials,
Okay.
performing. And then we have people who are just starting out too.
Okay, great. That's useful for me to know, like, how to tailor my answers for everybody. All right, awesome. Let's get into
I
it.
love it. I love it. Luke Zimmerman,
Yes.
how are you?
How you doing, there, Zimmerman?
I'm good. Good last name.
What's up, Luke?
That's
How
great.
are you?
Here's a question to you. I looked up the movies where you done. And two, you did a movie with Will Smith, In Pursuit of Happiness. How was that for you doing that movie with Will Smith? How was that for you doing that Pursuit of Happiness?
Yeah, Will was wonderful to work with. A total pro. And what was great was the script didn't have a whole lot for us. And as soon as we rehearsed it once, the director was like, I don't know, I feel like you need more dialogue here. Can you guys just sort of improv? And it was like, yeah, let's do it. Right. And so it was really easy to just jump into that. You had a sense of what was going on in the scene, and with the character, and it was very easy to play with him. I was in the scene with him and his son.
Wow.
And it was a great movie. It was a really awesome movie to be a part of. But yeah, it was also cool because I got flown back up to San Francisco to shoot that.
Oh.
So my mom got to visit the set and briefly say hi to Will Smith, which was really nice.
Oh, where in San Francisco did you grow up? What area?
In like the sort of central part of it, right in the city.
Got it. I lived in the city for about 5 years when I was going to San Francisco State, and then I did a show there and got my agent, and that's where I got my SAG card. But then finally said I gotta move to LA, We have, who do we have next? Alexandra Hart. Here
Yeah.
she is, the woman with a heart.
Hello. I wanted to tell you uh uh um um I wanted to tell you to tell you how do you stay in character?
How do I stay in character? Gosh, I don't really know how to answer that question. I don't really know. I don't know how to. I don't know how to drop out. You know what I mean? Once you know what's going on in the scene, you just go. You just talk. I mean, it's sort of like when you're. It's sort of like when you play make believe with a little kid, right? If you're doing a tea party, you don't say like, how do you stop doing a tea party with this little 5-year-old child? You just have the tea party until the tea party's over. And then you go outside and you play catch, or you go outside and jump on a swing. But it's not difficult to say to a child, oh, there's some sugar for your tea, and there's some, it's really not much more difficult than that, for me at least. I think part of it is that I'm not usually asked to play a character that's wildly different from me. You know what I mean? I'm not exactly doing sort of Johnny Depp as in the Pirates of the Caribbean or Sweeney Todd, where it's this drastically different thing. But usually for me, once you get into a scene, it's like coming down a roller coaster, right? It's like, how do you not keep going down the roller coaster? Well, you don't. You just go down. You go
Right.
down until the roller coaster goes back up.
Yeah, I'm scared of roller coasters. But not the one roller coaster of life I enjoy. Yeah. And now that being said, I want to go back to the quote characters that that you mentioned, Alexandra. Do you have a favorite character that you have played?
For me, I don't even think about it in terms of characters that I've played. I think of it in terms of like projects and like casts that I've worked with. And LA to Vegas was one of the most fun jobs I ever had, because we got to do it for 6 months, and because I loved the cast so much. Usually my job consists of one day of work or a couple weeks of work. It's so rare to be able to do something over a long period of time. And yeah, I would say LA to Vegas is right up there, along with Campus Ladies.
Now, is there a story from one of those two that was like, oh, this was like one of the best?
It's really just LA to Vegas, I would say, like our second week of work. A bunch of us went out for dinner, and before that, one of the other actors came over to my house because she was like, I don't have anything to wear. Can I raid your closet? And I was like, yeah, sure. And so, she didn't have time to go home. So she came in and she was in my closet, and she put on one of my shirts, and she wore my shirt to dinner. And then at dinner, I'm like, oh, do you want some of this? And I'm scraping food from my plate into her plate. And in that moment, I was like, God, it just feels like we're a family. It feels like we can do this for a long time together. And for me, that's the most fun about this stuff, right? Like you're not going to get to act very often, very much in your life. Brad Pitt spends 1% of his life on camera, right? Brad fucking Pitt. And so the other, you better love the other 99%.
Yeah.
And so if you say like, oh, I want to play a role like Brad Pitt, I want to play a role like Johnny Depp, like, first of all, you almost definitely aren't, right? Because there's like 20 dudes that do that. But second of all, even if you're them, you're not going to be able to do it for very long.
the vast majority of your life, and even if you're an actor, even if you're on a TV show, most of your time is spent in your trailer or waiting for them to call action. So you have to like the rest of it. And fortunately for me, I do. I love being with my cast members. I love getting dinner afterwards. I love hanging out, like, oh, we have a 2-hour break. Hey, let's go hang out in my trailer and watch a thing or play a video game or just shoot the shit, right? I love that stuff. And the only way you're going to survive in this is if you love that stuff. If you're, I had a friend who was like, I won't be happy unless I'm a regular on a TV show. And look, I appreciate the ambition, but chances are you're not going to be a regular on a TV show. There's very, very few people who are. And so you better be happy otherwise, or find something else to do.
What does bring you joy? What helps you get?
Like I said, my castmate coming into my closet and borrowing a shirt.
Right.
I love that shit, right? Or like, I've started doing these conventions where I meet fans, and it's like that is so fun, and people telling me like the work that I've done has impacted them and they like it and it meant something to them. Like that's fun. I got into this because I did theater in high school, and I loved being with my cast. In college, what I loved about college was seeing the same people every day, and doing rehearsal or going to lunch. And so that's always what I'm chasing, right? Like I'm a social animal. And so
You love all aspects of life, it feels like.
I don't know about all, but I love the social aspects of this job, right?
Yeah.
And I don't just mean like I love going to parties. I mean, I love connecting with people. That's what I love about this job.
Well, I have someone that I'd love to connect you with right now. Ranjani Reyes is here today.
Hey,
What's going on, Ranjani?
really good. And I love your culture.
Thank you.
I love your culture because I love it. So, what is the roots represent you in entertainment industry?
I'm sorry, I didn't get the beginning of your question. What about representing me in the entertainment industry?
Your culture.
Oh, my culture.
In entertainment, just I saw all the actors represent
Do
their
you
roots.
mean like Persian culture?
Yeah.
Oh, sure. Well, it's interesting. My parents are Persian. I was born and raised in San Francisco. And so I really, I very much identify as Persian American, right?
Oh, yeah.
So there's elements of my experience with my parents and my Persianness that comes into my work at different times. But then at other times it's totally not. At other times I'm, fully there's nothing Persian about a character that I might do. And again, that's another instance of luck, right? I have the opportunity to play American roles, right? Roles for which the ethnicity is completely unimportant. And then I have sometimes the opportunity to play Persian American roles, right?
That's the one.
Where the character is Persian. And then sometimes, the ethnicity is not specified, but I will say, hey, can we make this guy's name Persian? Can we make it so that this character is specifically Persian American? And sometimes the answer is yes, sometimes it's no. I think it's important to advocate for representation. Sometimes, let's say there's a character that's just a waitress, right? And let's say there's someone with Down syndrome, and they just get cast as a waitress, right?
Right.
Well, that's just a waitress, right? But is there a way to make that character a waitress with Down syndrome? What would that look like? How would that change things? I don't know. I don't have experience with that, but I think that it's something that writers should explore and actors should explore. And you know, I think anytime we can bring more of ourselves to a character, that's a win both for ourselves and for representation generally.
Definitely American dream.
Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah, right on.
Thank you so much.
Anytime, David. He's the most funniest teacher ever. You
Oh,
love him.
well, how much do I owe you for that?
100%.
100% hugs. I love it.
Okay.
We let's see who we have next. I love this. I love all this. Okay, who's next? We have Max Broomer. Max Broomer's in the house.
Hi, Amir. It's nice to meet you. I did some research on your background. Can you tell us about the role you played in Legally Blonde?
Oh gosh, that was one of my very first jobs, and I think I had one line or two lines, and I that was I think maybe my first movie that I ever did, and I worked with obviously well, not obviously, but I worked with Reese Witherspoon in that, and it was just a sort of walk by scene where she was like, "Hi, good to see you," and I was like, "Hi, welcome back," or something like that, and then I was so thrilled to be there, and I got that through, again, luck. I was a member of a thing called the Actors Network, and the casting director called up the Actors Network and was like, "Hey, send me 5 non-white people for one line on Legally Blonde 2. Send them to me tomorrow." And we fucking ran down there, did the one line, and I booked it. You know, they wanted someone non-white because I think they realized that most of the cast was white. They're like, maybe there's one guy walking by in the office can be brown. And so I did it. I was thrilled. And then went to see the movie, and I was cut out of it. You can see me walking by, but I don't talk to her. So you know, learned a lesson in Hollywood editing. But you know, I still occasionally get 25-cent checks because it continues to play around the world.
Yeah.
So, you know, thrilled to be.
It's quite interesting those times. You know, I was in 10 seconds of the Meet the Fockers, and and I'm on deleted scene number 14. So you never know. So like Amir said, but you've been more on screen than more on the floor of the cutting room.
Sure, I usually make it into the projects I do.
Yes,
but
you do.
I've been cut a few times for sure.
Yeah. How do you deal with that? How, you know, if somebody was going to say, how do you deal with the pressures of Hollywood?
How do you deal with it? I don't know. I think you have to be made for it. I think you have to, I think you just have to know that you have to be prepared for the fact that so much is out of your control, and just accept that, you know, like if you think that you can manage everything about your career and about the way you're taken on in this industry, you're going to be very disappointed and you're probably going to quit. And so, you know, I think when you talk to people who've been doing it 20 years, like I have, I think all of us are people who manage it well, right? The people who can't quit really early. I had a friend who moved to LA and from San Francisco, and I was like, oh my God, you know, I hope you love LA and I can't wait for you to be famous. And she moved back 3 months later.
Oh,
and I was like, you didn't give it a shot. And she goes, I could tell very quickly what would be required of me, and I'm not prepared for that. I can't do that. And I was like, good for you. Shit, good for you. You know, I think you have to know that there is racism Hollywood. There is sexism in Hollywood. There is ableism in Hollywood. And, you know, you can advocate for yourself. You can work your ass off, but those obstacles are going to continue to exist. If you can't handle that, then you have to quit, right? But if you have the strength to say, you know, I can handle it, I get it, and I'm going to keep grinding, then that's what you do.
Mm-hmm. Wow. I just had a therapy session there. Thank you for that, doctor. Um, let's see. We have Raquel Chavez here today. Raquel.
Hi. Hi, I had a question. Which is the best do you like, the voiceover or acting?
I like them both for different reasons. I like voiceover because I don't have to wear hard pants. And I don't have to memorize any lines. I just show up, I get in the booth, the lines are there, and then I'm done. It's usually pretty quick. It's usually, you know, an hour or 2 hour, 4 hours at the most. But it's very lonely. You go in there, you go in the booth, usually all by yourself. You've got the director in the control room, and that's kind of it. So I like on camera acting because it's a lot more social. You get to spend time with people and have fun and have a lot of laughs. And you know, it feels like more of a scene. You get into a scene with someone, you're acting, whereas voiceover, it feels sometimes like you're doing a little bit of a party trick, right? It's just like, okay, do this first line 3 times. Great. Okay, now do this second line 3 times. Great. And so you just move on. It feels like a little bit more, you feel like a little more of a technician than an artist. But that's not bad. So, you know, it just depends on the day.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Raquel. Let's see. Brian Pierce is here today. Hey, Brian.
Hi. My question is for people like me has autism. How can you get into the entertainment industry, like being an actor or actress or something like that if you have autism?
Well, I think that autism is. I will say I'm by no means an expert on autism, so take this with a grain of salt. But my feeling is that autism is a thing that makes you different, just as many things make many people different. And so there's going to be certain people who misunderstand what autism is, people who are cut off to working with people who are autistic. Not the same, but in a similar way that someone would be like, oh, you know, I'm not interested in fat people right now. I'm not interested in Persian people right now. I'm not interested in short people right now, right? There's various people who are going to see that as something different they don't want to deal with. And then there's people who are going to be like, yeah, that's just different. I don't mind that. Why would I mind that? And so it's about finding people, connecting with people for whom autism is not, you know, a big X for them. Sorry. And so, you know, you connect with people who have a better understanding of autism or who are, you know, not closed off to autistic people, but you also create your own.
Says that.
You also create your own stuff, you know, whether that be writing, whether that be creating little short films or social media content. You know, what I always say is the key to starting or continuing a career is the 2 C's: connect and create. So you've always got to be connecting with people. And that could mean connecting online. That could mean connecting in, I don't know, a networking event or a class or something like that. And then you've always got to be creating. And you've got to be creating because ostensibly you are a creative person. And so you can't sit and wait for someone to give you permission to create. If that's the case, then you're always sort of, sitting there with your hand out, right? And you also have to create because you got to pay the bills, because we live in a capitalist society and you need to generate, you need to produce, but also because the creative act is a way to connect. You're connecting with your audience, you're connecting with your colleagues. When you say, how do I get into it as someone with autism? Yeah, it's different from anybody else, right? Autism is unique in its own way, but also it's the same as everybody else, right? Everybody's different in some way. And so whether you're autistic or neurotypical or whatever, you still have to pay attention to those two C's: connect and create all day long.
That's wonderful. Now, I know that you create and connect. Have you created your own show? Have you wanted to direct and produce?
Yeah, so I mean, I've written some stuff for myself. I have directed a few things. I like my wife is a writer, and I collaborate with her at times. She writes parts for me in the stuff that she creates. I'm less interested in being a writer because writing generally involves sitting at a computer by yourself.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm more here for the social aspect of it.
Yeah.
But I'd love to like direct commercials. I think that'd be really fun. I think it'd be really great at it. And so, I have a commercial directing mentor, and we're talking, and hopefully someday I'll do that.
Very nice. If you ever need a guy drinking a milkshake, I'm even though I am lactose intolerant, but oh, I saw your little thumb go up. I love those now. And this, let's see, does this work here?
Yeah.
I love that. Isn't that cool? Love it. Now I was reading on your bio, beside doing voiceover, beside doing commercials and film and TV, you were on stage at the Hollywood Bowl.
I was, yeah. I've been on the Hollywood Bowl stage a couple times. I did Guys and Dolls there maybe 10 years ago, 10, 12 years ago. And I did Annie there about 5 years ago. Yeah, and it's pretty incredible to be performing for an audience of 19,000 people.
My God, to be on that stage performing.
Yeah, it's pretty fantastic. And what's funny is one time during Guys and Dolls, I left my mic off stage just as I was stepping on for my big scene.
Oh, no.
And my brain started moving a 1,000 miles a minute trying to figure out what to do about it. And I realized there was nothing I could do about it. And then I just went, well, this place was created 80 years ago before mics were very good. And before the sound systems were very good. So I said, just project. So I did. And what was funny was like, my friend told me afterwards, he said, as soon as you started talking, everyone in the audience realized there was a problem. And suddenly everyone shut up, leaned forward, and 3 lines in, I had a joke.
Yeah.
And that joke got a good laugh. I heard the laugh go at least halfway up the audience. And I was like, oh my God, we're going to be okay.
Oh my God. What role did you play in the Guys and Dolls?
Joey Biltmore of the Biltmore Garage.
Okay. So there you go. He's a singer as well. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I just take it in. And it's so fun to sit. I just remember this party where we're sitting and chatting years ago. God, this is 15 years ago. And it's nice to chat with you again now.
Likewise, pal. Likewise.
We have a few more. We have the wonderful Shannon Diericks is here today. Here she is.
Hey. Speaking of Annie, and I was in Performing Arts Academy. I auditioned for Annie and got the lead part of Annie.
You did, didn't you? You were wonderful in that.
Yeah, I did.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I do have a question for you. What character you play in Annie?
I was Bert Healy in Annie. I sang "You're Never Fully Dressed Without a Smile."
Oh wow.
And you know what's funny, speaking of luck, is they were casting a show called Has Been Hotel, and there's a character on there that's very sort of like Bert Healy, and they were having trouble casting it, and the creator went online. She went to YouTube. She did a search for Bert Healy singing, and there was me. Someone had taken a bootleg at the Hollywood Bowl of me singing that song. He put it up on YouTube. She saw it and she went, "There he is. That's who I want to cast." And that show is called Has Been Hotel, and it just came out a couple months ago. So, you know, I did a good job as Bert Healy, but that's just luck. That's just luck that some random dude videoed me, put me on his YouTube, and she saw it.
Wow.
I love that.
That's crazy.
Great question, Shannon. Thank you.
Welcome.
I feel like Daniel has had their hand up for a long time, David.
Daniel? Okay, well, let's get Daniel here. Danny McNett, there he is. The man, the myth, the legend.
How you doing? One of the things that I'm really happy for is you got into the business when it wasn't over, politics and over sexual boxes, and actually now and everything they actually hate male characters, and especially they happen to be white. So and the major studios had to lay off everybody, because they were making products that people did not want. So and everything. How do you feel about what's going on today?
So I disagree with you. I think I don't think there's anyone in Hollywood that dislikes white men. And the fact is, most roles are still played by white people, and most roles are still played by men. So there's this idea that it's hard to be a white man. That's just not the case. You know, I've got a million examples from my own career of, they're not going to consider you for this because it needs to be a white guy, right? Like, the simple fact is that if most of the lead characters in most scripts are white, right? And if there's a role of brother of lead, I can't go in for that role, right? So I can't do the lead because the lead's going to be a white guy. I can't be the brother because the brother has to be white. I can't be any member of the white guy's family. So yeah, I don't. I just think you're wrong. It's just not the case. If you look at the statistics, the vast majority of roles are still played by white people, are still played by men. I think that people of color and women are making inroads, and it's getting
slightly better, but only slightly. Yeah, I don't know who's told you that, but that's not true.
Do you come across do you come across that with you getting roles?
Well, it's just a fact that there's a lot that I can't even be considered for because I'm the vast majority of writers are still white. The vast majority, like if you look at a writer's room, most of the people in every writer's room are white men. If you look at, I don't know, like I know Bill Maher doesn't employ a single woman on his writing staff, right? There's writing staffs out there with no women. There's writing staffs out there with one woman or one brown person. And so, yeah, there's an effort to try and get people of color and women more jobs, but that's only because the industry is absolutely still dominated by white men.
It's insane to me. I mean, though right now the whole world's insane to me. So, but I just don't understand. Sometimes I feel like I'm from a different planet because I am all about, unlike you, I love to connect with people. And I think of, this is my extended family, Performing Arts Studio West and the community and you, and, even though we don't see each other for 20, 15 years or something or whatever, it's all, I could use the word diversity, but it's more than that. It's humanity. And I think I don't think we need as not just a business in Hollywood, but as the humanity on Earth need to finally get out of whatever box we're stuck in and realize what's everybody, the brothers and sisters around us. I know I sound like a preacher there, but you know what I'm saying. I know you know what I'm saying, but
Yeah, absolutely.
that's how I feel.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. I'll leave it there.
We're there. I think we have one more question, and if not, he's not raising his hand, but I know he's an animator and he's a creator. Austin, I just want to bring you on because this man creates some amazing stuff. So I wanted to just bring him on. Here we have a wonderful director, Austin, for animation, and we have a voiceover artist, Amir. So I wanted to introduce the both of you.
Hi.
What's up, Austin? Good to meet you. Did you have a question?
Good to meet you too.
Do you have a question, or did you just want to say hi, or?
Yeah, I just want to say hi, but it's quite fantastic just hearing all the information from you. It's very helpful.
Good. I'm so glad to hear that, Austin. Right on, man. And good luck with your animation. That's very cool that you do that.
Thanks.
Yeah, very talented, very talented. Thank you, Austin. And again, when you're doing your next animation, I'm available.
Okay.
And so is Amir. So this is a question that when I was studying with Corey Allen, he would always begin the class with. And the question is, what do you want the most at this moment in your life?
What do I want the most? I'd love to buy a house. That would be amazing.
In LA?
Yeah, LA would work, if it has to be somewhere else, I guess that'd be okay, but all my friends are here and I work here, so seems like LA would be the place to buy it. That's what I want most.
Well, I'm ready to come to the housewarming party and
all right.
Tell me what to bring. I'll bring whatever you like. Thank you so much. This has been amazing and wonderful, and to see you, it's
my absolute pleasure.
It's a joy. Yeah, let's all I'll unlink everyone, and we'll do a group photo A group.
Sure.
On the count of three, what will we say, Amir?
Um, I don't know. Let's say David.
David. Okay. On the count of three, we're all going to say David. 1, 2, 3. David. Amir Talai.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Sure, buddy. My pleasure.